Hello, welcome to the next session on computer graphics and visualization. So in this session, we'll be learning about the midpoint circle generation algorithm. Okay, so let us see what is this midpoint circle algorithm. Midpoint circle algorithm generates all points on a circle centered at the origin by incrementing all the way around the circle. Okay, so we generate the points on a circle which is centered at the origin and we increment all the way around the circle. The strategy here is to select which of the two pixels is closer to the circle by evaluating a function at the midpoint between the two pixels. So sometimes while we are plotting a point on the circle, on the boundary of the circle, there may be a need for making a decision as to which of the two pixels should be selected. So in that case, what we do is we find the midpoint. Okay, we find a value called as a midpoint to select one of the two pixels. Now to apply the midpoint method, we define a circle function as given here. So f circle of x comma y equals to x square plus y square minus r square, where r is the radius of the circle, x and y are the points on the circumference of the circle. Now to summarize the relative position of any point x comma y, so we can summarize it by checking the sign of the circle function as given below. So if the circle function yields a value which is negative for a given value of x and y, then we can come to a conclusion that the point x comma y is inside the circle boundary. So if this is a circle boundary, that point may be inside the circle boundary if the circle function for a given value of x and y yields a value which is less than 0 or a negative value. If the value for the circle function is equal to 0, that means the point x comma y is lying on the circle boundary. Okay. Similarly, if the circle function yields a value which is positive or greater than 0, that indicates the point x comma y is outside the circle boundary. Now if you just look at this particular diagram here, or this particular figure here, so let us say we have plotted one point here. So what is this coordinate? X coordinate is xk, y coordinate is yk. So we can plot a point something like this. There is no ambiguity. While moving to the next pixel to be plotted over here, as you can see, so the circle or the curve actually passes through both these pixels here. Now we have to make a decision whether this pixel has to be selected or the pixel that is present here. That is, we'll have to select whether we should consider the pixel identified by the position xk plus 1 yk, or whether we need to select the pixel at the position xk plus 1 comma yk minus 1. So to do that, we find the midpoint. So what is the midpoint of yk minus 1 and yk? That is yk minus 1 by 2. So we'll be using that particular midpoint in order to determine which of the two pixels should be selected, right? So that is the midpoint circle generation algorithm. We use a circle function to determine whether a point is lying on the boundary of the circle. If it is negative, that means the point is lying inside the circle. If it is greater than 0, that indicates the point x comma y is lying outside the circle boundary. Okay. Now before proceeding to the actual algorithm, let us try to understand what we mean by 8-way symmetry. Okay. So if you consider the circle as shown in this particular figure here, the shape, we can identify that the shape of the circle is similar in each of the quadrants. So quadrants are the 4 sections here. So this is one quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and the fourth quadrant. So therefore, if we determine the curve position in the first quadrant, we can generate the circle position in the second quadrant of the xy plane. Okay. The circle sections in the third and fourth quadrant can be obtained from the sections in the first and second quadrant by considering the symmetry along x-axis. So as we can have 4 quadrants, we can split these quadrants into 8 different octants here, right? So we have one octant, second octant, third octant, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Each octant or each quadrant, if we consider this quadrant here, that can be split into 2 octants. So this is octant 1, this is octant 2. Similarly, octant 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So if you find one point x comma y on a circle, we can use the 8-way symmetry of the circle to determine the remaining 7 points on the circle. If I find a point x comma y, a value for x comma y, so we can find this y comma x, minus y comma x comma y, minus x minus y comma minus x, y comma minus x, and x comma minus y. So that is what we call as 8-way symmetry. If we find one point on the circumference of a circle, that is as good as finding the remaining 7 points by applying the 8-way symmetry. Since a circle can be split into 8 octants, it is symmetrical across 8 octants. Now let us jump into the actual algorithm here. Let us understand what are the steps we have in this midpoint circle algorithm. Okay, the first step, as it is mentioned here, now this is the algorithm taken from the prescribed textbook for this computer graphics and visualization subject, Donald P. Hearn. So this is the algorithm that we have here. The first step is input the radius r and the circle center xc, yc, and obtain the first point on the circumference of a circle on the origin as x0, y0 or x0, y0 equals to 0, r. The input for this particular algorithm is the value of the radius r and the center position given as xc, yc. So we input the radius r and the circle central position xc, yc to obtain the first point on the circumference of a circle centered on the origin as x0, y0 equals to x0, r. So just for the sake of example, let us say we have a circle of radius r. Okay, so the first point that we are going to plot is this point 0, 10, as it is given in this particular algorithm here. The first point we are going to plot is x0, y0 equal to 0, r. In this case, the value of radius equals to 10. The first point that we are going to plot, or the first pixel that we are going to plot at, is at position 0, 10. That is the first step. So that is the first step of your algorithm. Now let us see what is the second step here. So calculate the initial value of the decision parameter as p0 equals to 5 by 4 minus r. So that is the equation that they have given us to compute the value of the initial decision parameter. So p0 equals to 5 by 4 minus r. Remember, if the value of the radius is given in integer, so in that case, this 5 by 4 can be replaced with 1. So p0 can be computed as 1 minus r. Or if it is floating point number, we need to compute the value of p0 equals to 5 by 4 minus r. That is the second step. What is the third step here? For each xk position starting at the value of k equals to 0, we need to perform the following test. That we need to check whether the value of the decision parameter pk is positive or negative. If the value of the decision parameter pk is less than 0 or if it is negative, the next point along the circle centered on 0, 0 is given as xk plus 1, yk. That is, we increment x by 1, retain y as it is. Okay. If the value of the decision parameter is negative, that is at each xk position starting at k equal to 0, we need to check if the value of the decision parameter is negative or positive. If the value of the decision parameter pk is negative, so in that case, the next point on the circle along the circle centered at 0, 0 is xk plus 1, yk. That is, we need to increment x by 1, retain y as it is. And the next decision parameter pk plus 1, in case of the previous decision parameter it was negative, pk plus 1 is given as the previous value of the decision parameter, that is pk, plus 2 into xk plus 1 plus 1. This will give us the value for the next decision parameter. So this equation is to be used only if the value of the previous decision parameter was negative. Now the second case, if the decision parameter that was computed is positive, in that case the next point along the circle is given as xk plus 1, yk minus 1. That is, if the decision parameter is positive, in that case we need to increment x. At the same time, we need to decrement y as well. Okay, we need to increment x and we need to decrement y. And the equation for the next decision parameter pk plus 1 is given as pk plus 1 equals to the previous value of the decision parameter pk plus 2 into xk plus 1 minus 2yk plus 1. So this is the formula for computing the next decision parameter pk plus 1 if the value of the decision parameter pk is positive. If the value of the decision parameter pk is negative, we will be using this equation. Pk plus 1 equals to pk plus 2 into xk plus 1 plus 1. Else if the value of the decision parameter is negative, in that case we need to compute the value of the decision parameter pk plus 1 using this equation. That is pk plus 1 equals to pk plus 2 into xk plus 1 plus 1 minus 2yk plus 1, where the value of 2xk plus 1 can be computed as 2 into xk plus 2 and the value of 2yk plus 1 can be computed as 2yk minus 2. I hope it's clear till the step number 3, very important steps. First step, we input the value of the radius r and the center position xc, yc and obtain the value of the first point on the circumference of a circle centered at the origin x0, y0 as x0, x0, y0 equals to 0, r. That is the first step. Second step, we compute the initial value of the decision parameter p0 equals to 5 by 4 minus r. Remember, if the value of the radius is an integer, you can directly replace this 5 by 4 by 1. So p0 can be computed using 1 minus r directly if the value of the radius is integer. Step number 3. For each xk position starting at k equal to 0, we need to perform the test if the value of pk is negative or positive. If it is negative, the next point on the circle centered at origin is given as xk plus 1, yk, that is increment x by 1 and retain y as it is, and compute the next decision parameter using this equation. Else if the value of the decision parameter pk is positive, in that case the next point on the circle should be considered as xk plus 1, yk minus 1, that is increment x by 1 and decrement y by 1. Remember, we are going to increase the value of x by 1 and decrease the value of y by 1, and we will be using this equation to compute the next decision parameter. That is step number 3. Now let us proceed with the next step. Step number 4 specifies we need to determine the symmetry points in the other 7 octants. That is what we just discussed here. Suppose we have found one point here, x, y. Using this x and y value, we can use this 8-way symmetry principle of the circle to determine the 7 other points on the other 7 octants. We are going to compute the points for only one octant, and we are going to use the symmetry of the circle to find the 7 other points in the other 7 octants. Now, that is the step number 4. The next step is move each calculated pixel position x, y onto a circular path centered at xc, yc and plot the coordinate values given as x equal to x plus xc, y equals to y plus yc. So initially we had input the center of the circle at position xc, yc. Then we moved the circle in order to keep its center at the origin. Okay, so whatever points we have computed, we need to move it back in order to represent the change in the origin of the circle. So we need to increment the value of x and y with the value of the center position, that is xc and yc. So x is incremented by xc, y should be incremented with yc. We need to repeat the steps from step number 3 to step number 5 until the value of x will be greater than or equal to y. So this is the midpoint circle generation algorithm. We look at one example, we'll understand it better. So I'll just go through the steps once again. First step is input the radius r and circle center xc, yc and obtain the first point on the circumference of a circle centered on the origin as x0, y0 equals to 0, r. That is the first step. Step number 2, calculate the initial value of the decision parameter as p0 equals to 5 by 4 minus r. Step number 3, at each xk position starting at k equals to 0, we need to perform the test whether pk is negative or positive. If pk is negative, then the next point on the circle should be considered as xk plus 1 yk, yk. That is, just increment x, retain y value as it is, and use this equation to compute the value of the next decision parameter. That is, in case of the value of pk is negative. If the value of pk is positive, then the next point on the circle centered at the origin is computed as xk plus 1, yk minus 1. What means we need to increment x by 1, decrement y by 1. Increase the value of x and decrease the value of y by 1. And use this equation to compute the next decision parameter. Okay. Now that we have found one value of x and y, so determine the symmetry points in the other 7 octants. We have found one value of x comma y in one octant. Remember, there are 8 octants in a circle, and there is a symmetry among all these 8 octants. So we need to determine the symmetry points in the other 7 octants. Step number 5, for every point that we have found, for every x comma y value that we have found, we need to add xc comma yc to it. Okay, that is to move each calculated position x comma y onto a circle path centered on xc comma yc. We need to add xc and yc to the value of x and y respectively. The last step is we need to repeat steps from 3 to 5 until the value of x will be greater than or equal to y. So that is the midpoint circle algorithm steps. A very important algorithm. So we have 6 steps that forms the midpoint circle algorithm. Okay. Now let us proceed with an example from the prescribed textbook here. Let us consider a circle with radius equals to r. So let us try to demonstrate the midpoint circle algorithm by determining the positions along the circle octant in the first octant from x equals 0 to x equals to y. So given a circle equals to radius equals to 10, we need to plot the points from x equals 0 to x equal to y. That is in one octant, that is this octant. We know that this octant here, if the value is x comma y, here the value will be y comma x, because these two octants in one quadrant are symmetrical. Okay. So we input the value of circle. So let us just look at the question here. The radius value is given as 10 and the circle origin or the circle center is considered to be at the origin. So here xc comma yc will be equals to 0 comma 0. So the first point that we are going to plot is x naught comma y naught, that will be 0 comma r. In this example, the value of r equals to 10. The first point we will be plotting is 0 comma 10. At the pixel position, x is 0, y equals to 10. We are going to plot the first point, right? So we will be plotting the first point at x equal to 0, y comma 10, because that is the first step in your algorithm. So compute the first point, x naught comma y naught equal to 0 comma r. In example, the value of r equal to 10, so x naught comma y naught equals to 0 comma 10. That is the first point that we will be plotting. Okay, now let us trace the algorithm. Okay, so we need to calculate the initial decision parameter value given using the equation 5 by 4 minus r. Remember, I have told you, if the value of the radius is integer, we can change this equation a bit. So P naught can be computed as 1 minus r. 5 by 4 can be replaced with 1 if the value of the radius is an integer. Let us use the same equation. P naught equals to 1 minus r. So the value of r here was 10. So P naught equals to 1 minus r. That will give us the value of minus 9. That is the value of the P naught, the initial decision parameter. Okay. Now let us see what are we doing here. For the circle centered on the coordinate origin, the initial point is x naught comma y naught, that is 0 comma 10, and the initial increments for calculating the decision parameters are, we multiply 2 into x naught, that will give us 0, and 2 into y naught, that is 2 into 10, that is going to give us the value of 20. Now we need to compute the successive decision parameters values and the position along the circular path. So we need to follow the steps number 3 repeatedly. Okay, let us see what are we going to do here. We found the value of initial resistance parameter P naught, which is equals to minus 9. So for value of k equals to 0, Pk equals to minus 9. Okay, now let us check this condition. So initially the value of P naught was equal to minus 9, right? So we need to check if the value of Pk is negative or positive. We found that minus 9 is negative. So in that case, what do we need to do? We need to increment the value of x by 1, retain the value of y as it is. So what was the initial value of x? It was 0. We increment x by 1, so xk plus 1 will be 1. The initial value of y was 10. We need to retain it as it is. Because the value of Pk is negative, x will be incremented by 1 from 0 to 1. The value of y will be retained to 10 itself. We are not going to modify the value of y. So what is the value of 2xk plus 1? 2 into 1 will be 2. 2 into 10 will give us a value of 20. So that is the first step. So we have found the next point on the circle, xk plus 1 comma yk. We have incremented the value of x and retained the value of y as it is. Initial value of x was 0, we incremented it by 1, so it is 1 now. The value of y was 10, we have retained it as it is because that is given in your algorithm. So if the value of pk is negative, the initial value of pk was minus 9, it was negative. So increment the value of x by 1. So from 0, we are going to increment it by 1. X will be 1, y will be retained as it is, that is 10. The next point on the circle, we have found it as 1, comma 10. So that is the next point, 1, x is 1, y is 10. This is the next point we have found on the circle. Remember, we have not yet plotted it, we have just found the next point on the circle, that is 1, comma 10. Now what is the next step as per the algorithm? After computing the next point, we need to compute the next decision parameter using this equation, pk plus 1. What was the value of k? Initially it was 0. So p0 plus 1, that is p1 equals to the previous value of pk, which is minus 9 plus 2xk plus 1 plus 1. So 2kx plus 1 was 2 plus 1. So p1 will be minus 9 plus 2 plus 1. So the value of p1 will be minus 6. So that is what we have written here. So for value of k equals to 1, p1 will be minus 6. That is the next decision parameter. Again, we need to repeat the same procedure. Check if the value of the decision parameter is positive or negative. So p1 is negative. So what do we need to do? Increment x by 1. Initially the value of x was 1. The previous value of x was 1. So increment it by 1. Retain y as it is. So it is, the next point will be 2, comma 10. Okay, multiply both these values with 2, you will end up with 4 and 20. What is the next step as per the algorithm? Again, check whether the value of p1 is negative. Is it negative? Yes. The value of p1 was minus 6, so it is negative. Again, increment x by 1. So from 2, we are going to increment it by 1, that will be 3, and retain y as it is, and compute the value of the next decision parameter. What is the next decision parameter? The value of k will be 2. So the next decision parameter, p2, that is p1 plus 1, will be pk, the previous value of the decision parameter, that is minus 6 plus 4 plus 1, that is going to give us a value of minus 1. Again repeat the same step. Check if p2 is negative. It is negative because it was minus 1. So increment the decision parameter, increment the value of x by 1. From 2 we are going to increment it to 3 and retain the value of y as it is. So y did not change for these 3 decision parameters, whereas the value of x incremented thrice here. So again compute the value of 2xk plus 1, which is 6, 2yk plus 1, which is 20. What do we do next? So we have found the value of p2 equals to minus 1. Again check if the value of p2 is negative. Is it negative? Yes, minus 1 is negative. So the value of p3 will be the value of p2, which is minus 1 plus 2xk plus 1. What was the value of xk plus 1? It was 6 plus 1. Right? It was 6. So pk plus 1, that is 2. p2 plus 1, p3 will be equal to p2. What is the value of p2? Minus 1 plus 6 plus 1. What is the value of p3? That will give us a value of 6. So p3 will be the value of 6. Now we need to check if the value of p3 is negative. p3 is equal to 6, that is not negative. So now we are moving to the next condition. p3 was found to be positive, 6 is greater than 0. In that case, we need to increment the value of x by 1 and we need to decrement the value of y by 1. So increment the value of x by 1. From 3 we are going to increment it to 4, whereas decrement the value of y by 1. So from 10 we are going to reduce it to 9. And remember, we need to repeat these steps until the value of x is greater than or equal to y. These two steps we can look into later. So at every point of time we need to check if the value of x is greater than or equal to y. Did we get any condition there? No. We are yet to read that particular step. So at p3 the value of decision parameter was found to be 6. So increment the value of x by 1, decrement the value of y by 1. So x is incremented by 1, y is decremented by 1. 3 becomes 4, the value of y from 10 it is decreased to 9. So we find 2xk plus 1, 2yk plus 1. 2 into 4 will be 8 and 2 into 9 will be 18. Again repeat the same step. So the next decision parameter, what is the next decision parameter we need to find? That is P4. In order to compute the P4, we need to consider the value of P3. What was the value of P3? That is 6. Remember, we will be using this equation because the value of Pk was negative. So P3 was 6. We need to find the value of P4. P4 equal to value of P3, which is 6 plus 8 plus 1 minus 18. Just substitute the value from this particular table. Okay. So P4 equals to P3, that is 6 plus 8 plus 1 minus 18. So the value of P4 will be minus 3. Okay. The value of P3 that we computed will be minus 3. And again what we need to do, again check here if the value of P4 is negative. Is it negative? Yes, it is. We found the value, we computed the value of P4 to be minus 3. It is negative. So what do we need to do again? Increment the value of x by 1, retain y as it is. So from 4, we are going to increment the value of x by 1. From 4 to 5, we are going to increment the value of x. So from 4, it will be incremented to 5 and retain the value of y as it is. The value of y will be retained as it is. And again compute the value of 2xk plus 1, 2yk plus 1. And what next? Again use this equation to compute the next decision parameter P5. So P5 equals to P4, that is minus 3 plus 10 plus 1. So the value of P5 will be 8. Okay. And since the value of P5 is positive, we come to this particular condition, increment x by 1 and decrement y by 1. So x will be changing from 5 to 6, y will be changing from 9 to 8. Okay. For the next step, again check if P5 was, what do we do next here? We found the value of P5 to be 8, we computed the next point. Again we need to compute the value of the next decision parameter using this equation, that is P6. We compute the value of P6 equals to value of P5, that is 8 plus 12 plus 1 minus 16. That is going to yield a value of 5. That is going to give the value of P6 equals to 5. Okay, which is positive. So we increment the value of x by 1 and decrement the value of y by 1. So that will give us a value 7, 7. Okay, what is the condition here? X is equal to y. We have reached this condition, we stop computing the next point. So we have found how many points from 0 to 6? We have found 7 points plus the initial point. We have found the values for 8 points in one octant. So these are the 8 points that we have computed. So initially x is 0, 10, next point is 1, 10, the next point is 2, 10, the next point 3, 10, followed by 4, 9, 5, 9, 6, 8 and 7, 7. This is along the line y equals to x. So we can use the octant symmetry to find the values here as well. Okay, as per this octant symmetry here. So if you found one value x, y, you can find the other 7 values as per this particular 8-way symmetry principle of a circle. Okay, so these are the values. You can just look at it, x, y we calculated. You can just interchange the values and the symbols to find the other 7 values in the other 7 octants. And all these values, if you are plotting it together, you will find a circle. You can form a circle to be drawn, right? So that is the midpoint circle generation algorithm. So we input the radius r, we find the initial decision parameter, we find the initial point to be plotted, that is 0, r, we find the initial decision parameter 1 p0 equals to 1 minus r if the value of r is a integer, or else we need to use the equation 5 by 4 minus r, compute the increments value 2x0 to y0 and then just draw this table. So first column will be the value of the k, second value will be the second column is the representing the value for all the decision parameters that you have calculated. The third column in this table will be the values for every new point that you are going to plot, every new point that you have calculated, every new coordinate position that you have calculated. The next two columns will be for 2xk plus 1 and 2yk plus 1. So which value, these two values you can directly substitute in these equations. Okay, that is why we are computing these values. We have 2xk plus 1 and 2yk plus 1 here. If you have calculated these values, you can directly substitute in these equations. These two column values you can substitute in these two appropriate equations. So repeat these steps until the value of x will be equal to or greater than y. That is the midpoint circle generation algorithm. So once you have found these values, you can easily find the values in the other 7 remaining octanes as well. So that is the midpoint circle generation algorithm. Okay. So a very important algorithm, very interesting algorithm that is used to draw the circle. So this is similar to your Brazenham's line drawing algorithm, where also we find the decision parameter, initial decision parameter and the subsequent decision parameters. Okay. So let us try to observe how can we write a program in order to implement this midpoint circle generation algorithm. Okay. So here I have already created a program to translate the algorithm into C++ or a C program here. So the idea that we have used here is code blocks. So the structure of the program was already explained to you in the previous videos. Let us just briefly go through the program. So we have the main function here. We have initialized using the glut init function. So argument C, argument vector. So we invoke the function glut init display mode, where we specify the type of buffer and the coloring scheme. So glut single, glut RGB. We initialize the window position using the function glut init window position 0, 0, that is at the top left corner. So we initialize the window size to 640 by 480. You can initialize it to any size of your choice. And then we invoke the glut create window function to create the window. Okay, to create the window with the you can specify any title. Okay, let me give the title as midpoint circle. Okay, and then we invoke the init function. Let us see what we have in the init function. In the initialize function, we invoke the GL clear color function to set the default background color to white. RGB values will be set to white. And then we are going to select a color for drawing as black. Okay, we are going to select a particular color for drawing the circle to black 0, 0, 0. You can select any color of your choice. And then we are going to set the orthogonal 2D orthogonal viewing volume or 2D orthogonal plot, 2D orthogonal area to plot the points. So it takes 4 parameters that is given here: left, right, bottom and top. So left will be 0, bottom will be 640. Left will be 0, right will be 640, bottom will be 0 and top will be 480. This is the 2D viewing volume that we have created, orthogonal 2D viewing volume. So that is our init function. Now we invoke the glut display function, which in turn calls the function within which we are going to specify all the modeling details. So it invokes the circles function. Let us see what we have in the circles function. In the circle function, we are going to clear the buffers by calling the function GL clear. Parameter to it is GL color buffer bit. So we are going to set the value for R or the radius as 200, and we are going to call one more function called as the midpoint circle, and we are going to pass the value of radius to it. Let us see what we have in the midpoint circle function. It is this function that invokes that implements the algorithm. Okay. So here, remember, the first step in the algorithm was to plot the first point at 0, R. That is what we are going to specify here. We are going to set the value of x equal to 0 and the value of y equals to r. That is the first point that we are going to plot. Then we are going to compute the value of the initial decision parameter p naught equals to 5 by 4 minus r. It's a direct translation of your algorithm, and we are going to plot a point at x, y. That is the first position 0, r. Okay, and then we are going to run the algorithm steps number 3, 4, 5 through a loop, checking the condition whether x is less than or equal to y. So we have this here, just have used the x less than y. So after plotting every point, we increment x by 1, because for both the cases of the decision parameter, we need to increment the value of x by 1. So x equal to x plus 1. Then we check the condition if the value of the decision parameter is positive or negative. If the value of the decision parameter pk is negative, use the equation pk equals to pk plus 2 into x plus 1. Else, decrement the value of y by 1. So y equals to y minus 1. Pk equals to pk plus 2 into x minus y plus 1. So this decision parameter equation is used if the value of pk is negative, and this block will be used if the or it will be executed if the value of pk will be positive. For both the cases, you are going to plot a point at position x comma y. Okay, so in this case, if pk is negative, the value of x comma y will be xk plus 1 comma y. In this case, the value of xk comma y, x comma y will be xk plus 1 comma yk minus 1, because we are decrementing the value of y by 1. Let us see what do we have in this plot point function. In the plot point function, we have used the GL points as the OpenGL geometric primitive, since we are going to draw the points at one point at a time. So we have used the GL points primitive, we have used GL begin function and GL end. Observe, we have identified all the 8 octants here. That is why we are writing it 8 times. Okay, this is for the first octant, the second octant, the third octant, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and 8th. Using one value of x comma y, we are going to plot it at 8 different octants using the 8-way symmetry principle. Okay, once we have plotted the points, we are going to flush it. We are going to display these points onto the screen. What is the use of GL flush function? Render the contents after the frame buffer onto the screen. That is what we are going to do using the GL flush function. And here we have the glut main loop. The screen will be retained as long as there is no interaction from any input device to modify the screen contents. Okay. So also remember, we have used these header files here, and the circle center position we have given it as 320, 240. So whatever values we have, as per the algorithm, we need to increment it by the values of xc and yc. For every x and y that you have calculated, we need to increment it by xc and yc, and we need to determine the symmetry across the remaining octants. Okay, let me just run this program and let us try to observe the output. So I've built this code, building, and here we have the output, a perfectly drawn circle. So we have just found the points from this octant, from here to here. So just by using the points in this octant, the other 8 octants can be derived, or the other 7 octants can be derived, and the consolidated points will form a circle. A very interesting program, a perfect circle, right? So that is how we implement the midpoint circle algorithm in the form of a OpenGL program using C. Okay, so in this particular video session, we saw what do you mean, what are the functions we use in our midpoint circle generation algorithm, what are the conditions we need to check. Then we saw the steps in the midpoint circle generation algorithm. There are 6 steps that we discussed. We understood by looking at one particular example, we understood how to plot the points, how to compute the next decision parameters, how to compute the next points, and how to determine the symmetry along the next 7 octants. And finally, we implemented that algorithm in a program to observe the output using OpenGL libraries, and this is what we get here. So with this, let us conclude this particular video session on computer graphics and visualization. Thank you.